Terminator is an American media franchise created by James Cameron and Galen Hurd. The franchise encompasses a series of science fiction action films, comics, novels, and additional media, with the initial release of the first Terminator movie in 1984. The plot is simple enough. A cyborg assassin is sent back in time to kill Sarah, who is a waitress, in a bid to stop her son, who will wage on a long war against his enemy in the future unless the course of history is altered. The show would spawn 6 movies. 3 of those movies would go on to be hated by the public. While I can't blame James Cameron for the production of these 3 movies on the screen as he wasn't there, what I can blame him for was the clusterfuck of a movie, Dark Faith. That was the breaking point. However, that's not what we're here to talk about. This is the Terminator Iceberg chart. What's an iceberg chart, you may ask? Essentially, the iceberg chart is basically like a chart where it's represented by an iceberg. The higher you go, the more well-known facts they are. The lower you go, either the more fucked up you get, or the more or less known facts about the show, movie, or whatever you're talking about. So yeah, let's get to it, shall we? The T-800 Terminator was the Skynet's first cybernetic organism, with living tissue over a hyperalloy endoskeleton. This made it Skynet's first successful infiltrator unit, capable of infiltrating the Resistance. Sarah Connor is a fictional character in the Terminator franchise. She is one of the protagonists of Terminator, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Dark Fate, as well as the television series Terminator The Sarah Connor Chronicles. John Connor is a fictional character and the main protagonist of the Terminator franchise, created by writer and director James Cameron. The character is first referred to in the 1984 film The Terminator and first appears in its 1991 sequel Terminator 2 Judgment Day. MK11 guest appearance. I think this is referring to all the times that T-800 has appeared in Mortal Kombat 11. Why? We don't know. So after going on my computer and looking it up just a while ago, I realized these both came out the same year around the same time. So I'm just guessing that it was either to boost the sale of Dark Fate or to just bring down MK11. Both are pretty crap. Moving on. James Cameron. This one's pretty much a no-brainer. James Cameron is a Canadian film director, producer, screenwriter, editor, and environmentalist. He brought you things like Avatar, the Titanic. His ass also brought you Dark Faith, but we won't talk about that. Skynet. This is basically referring to Skynet. Skynet is a fictional artificial neural network-based conscious group that serves as the antagonistic force of the Terminator franchise. In the first film, it is stated that Skynet was created by Cyberdine Systems for NORAD. So we have finished covering everything on sky level. Now it's time to reach the tip of the iceberg or surface level. Essentially what's up here is basically known facts about the show or theories or just things that people can't recall or can't remember. At least I think that's what that's about. So yeah, let's dive in, shall we? Get it? Dive in? No? Okay. The T-1000 is a Terminator series produced by Skynet in 2029. The Terminator is fully autonomous and unlike previous infiltrator models that use rubber skin and then find living tissue over their metallic endoskeleton, the T-1000 is made entirely out of liquid metal called mimic polyalloy. Yeah, meaning it can reform into any shape it touches of the approximate size, thus calling it a shape changer. Its first appearance was in 1991 sequel Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Time theory. I think what this is referring to is all the inconsistencies or the continuity errors that are in Terminator. Here is the Terminator timeline. You got the first Terminator movie until you reach Terminator Salvation. You might be thinking, where's the rest of the movie? Yeah, here they are. I don't want to go too much into the time theory, so I'm just gonna leave a link to a video down below that will explain it. If you guys have any of your opinions, leave it in the comment section down below. Time displacement machine. The time displacement equipment, TDE, also known as the time field generator, time displacement device, or time distortion device, is a time machine utilized as a tactical time weapon that allows living tissue and mimic polyalloy to be sent backward and forward in time. Cyberdyne Systems. This one's pretty straightforward. The Cyberdyne Systems is the corporation responsible for the development of Skynet. That's it. Moving on. No fate. I think what this is referring to is the line, "There is no fate but what we make for ourselves," or simply "no faith," is a famous line from the Terminator franchise. Also, it was carved in onto a table by Sarah Connor. I know I sound bland, but this is a fucking iceberg chart, so I can sound as bland as I want as long as I get the point across. Moving on. Miles Dyson. Dr. Miles Bennett Dyson was the original inventor of the neural net processor, which would lead to the development of Skynet. Unfortunately for him, it would pretty much turn on him, and it almost launched a global war of extermination against humanity. He was the man most directly responsible for Judgment Day, although his work wasn't, clearly intended for that, and he was visibly distraught and disgusted to learn about the rise of the machines. He's still going to get flack for it anyway. Moving on. Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is one of the few Terminators targeted by Skynet. Uncle Bob possesses much emotion compared to other protected Terminators. Despite being destroyed, Bob's CPU remains intact. In the film Terminator 2 Judgment Day, John Connor refers to the T-800 as Uncle Bob when introducing him to Enrique Salceda. I'm really hoping I pronounced that right. Kyle Reese. Sergeant Kyle Reese is a resistance soldier from the TechCom. He served from 2021 to 2027. He is also the father of John Connor through the result of predestination paradox. What does this mean, you ask? Let me elaborate more. A predestination paradox is a paradox of time travel. It exists when a time traveler is caught in a loop of events that predestines his or her journey back in time. Because of the possibility of influencing the past while time traveling, one way of explaining why history does not change is by saying that whatever has happened must happen. A time traveler attempting to alter the course of history, he's not going to alter anything. He's just going to be playing a part in shaping history as we already know it, rather than changing any aspects of the past. This is regardless of the time traveler's intentions or efforts to preserve their personal experience or knowledge of events. Basically, put it like this. If I went back in time and told Michael Jackson, "Hey, people are gonna make up shit about you when you grow up," I'm not really changing his history. I'm just adding on history to Michael Jackson. I'm playing a part as I know it. Gears 5 character pack. Essentially what this is referring to is the Gear 5 game. So basically in Gears 5, you got the character packs of characters from the Terminator movies. You got characters like Sarah Connor, T-800, things like that. So here's Sarah Connor. But you get the gist of it already. Basically, characters from Dark Faith. By the way, you realize that I didn't put music in the last frame or the last part of the video. That's because I didn't want the music to take away anything from the explanation I gave. 2029 Future War. In the original timeline, 2029 is the year that the Resistance, led by John Connor, destroyed Skynet and ended the war against the machines. Judgment Day. This is simple. What this is referring to is Terminator 2, Judgment Day, the 1991 sequel. Kuroko Pictures. This is straightforward. Coralco Pictures is the same studio that brought you Rambo 2 and 3, and of course Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Terminator Resistance is a 2019 first-person shooter game developed by Taeyan and published by Reef Entertainment for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. It's basically based on the Terminator franchise. More specifically, it's based off of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Like everything on this list, I have seen Judgment Day. With that, we are finished with surface level or the tip of the iceberg. So at the time of recording this now, it's now 12:35 a.m. in the night. Well, midnight anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get some sleep and come back to this list when I'm done. So yeah, good night. Alright, so it's now 8:35 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, I've finished getting my sleep. We are going to be diving into shallow waters. In this part of the list, this is things like little details that people don't know or things that people will miss entirely and they won't even realize it. So yeah, we are going to be diving in. Let's go. RoboCop versus the Terminator. Terminator vs. RoboCop is the 31st episode of Death Battle, featuring the Terminator from the series of the same name and RoboCop from the series of the same name in the battle of the iconic movie cyborgs. The Terminator was voiced by Joe Gaudet and RoboCop was voiced by Xander Mobus. I'll be back was I'll come back. So I don't know what this is referring to because when I searched it up, all I got was the story of how Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to say I will be back instead of saying I'll be back. So I don't know if the person who created this iceberg, I don't know if Neon accidentally put that there or he just made a mistake with it or that's purposely there for a reason. I don't know. Please tell me in the comment section down below. Linda Hamilton's sister played as a stunt double. Leslie Hamilton Freyas was the twin sister of actress Linda Hamilton. Freyas was a stunt double for her sister in the 1991 film Terminator 2 Judgment Day. She appears in the apocalyptic background dream sequence and in a scene where the T-1000 cyborg imitates Sarah Connor. The sisters attended the film's premiere together in July of 1991. Sadly, on August 22nd, 2020, she would pass away. Young John Connor uses an Atari portfolio. The Atari portfolio appears in the film Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where it is used by young John Connor to bypass security on an ATM with a ribbon cable connecting the portfolio's parallel interface to a magstripe card. Seriously, what's with this list on Judgment Day? I know it's a good movie, but this list is just full of Judgment Day. T2 3D Battle Across Time pre-show. Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time is the 1996 action sci-fi film that lasted 27 minutes. The story is around three freedom fighters attack a large corporation to prevent a future apocalypse. Basically, what this part of the iceberg is referring to is the 1996 pre-show that took place at Universal Studios. Guns N' Roses. The rock veterans famously lent the iconic track You Could Be Mine to Terminator 2 Judgment Day back in 1991, with Arnold Schwarzenegger appearing in character in the music video to square up against the band. Westworld influences. This one's straightforward. Westworld inspired the Terminator franchise. In fact, James Cameron had actor Arnold Schwarzenegger watch Westworld prior to filming The Terminator and told him to model his performer on that of Yul Brynner, who played the malfunctioning robot known as Gunslinger in the 1973 original. Old Painless. Old Painless was a handheld M134 minigun used by Blaine Cooper specifically when he was hired for a rescue mission in Guatemala in 1987. During the attack on the guerrillas camp, Blaine used the weapon to great effort, taking out several of the Guatemalan rebels. Yeah, if you don't know what this is, basically this gun was also in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This list is full of Judgment Day. Billy Idol was slated to play the T-1000. So originally, James Cameron wanted Billy Idol to play the T-1000 in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But unfortunately, Billy Idol got into a motorcycle accident, so Robert Patrick took the role instead. TechCom. TechCom is a resistance group led by John Connor in the war against the machines after Judgment Day. Benthic Petroleum cameo. As some of you know, Benthic Petroleum appeared in the 1989 movie The Abyss, and this is from the 1991 movie Terminator Judgment Day, in which you can see the Benthic Petroleum sign. Then again, I'm not too surprised they were directed by the same guy. T2, the arcade game. Yeah, this one's straightforward. There was just a T2 arcade game. So, now you have a look at it. Let's move on. T-1000 cameos. What this is referring to is all the cameos that Robert Patrick did as the T-1000. For example, like in front of me where he's cameoing in Wayne's World. I don't think I can whisper this one, so yeah, you can just read your screens. Skynet experiences roughly half of its loops as an artificial intelligence, and in this state generally has no set appearance. In its home loop, it tends to use a Terminator as a remote node or puppet when more personal interaction is desired. E3 is a parody. Let's be real, the only thing people enjoyed in Terminator 3 was the cemetery chase scene. Essentially what this part refers to is that the thought that, well, Terminator 3 is a ripoff of the first two movies. Can't say I blame them. Terminator 3 was garbage. Terminator 3 Redemption. Terminator 3 The Redemption is a video game based on the 2003 film Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. It was developed by Paradigm Entertainment and published by Atari Inc. in 2004 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. Terminator 3 The Redemption received mixed or average reviews according to Metacritic. Now, I can't say I blame them because, let's be real, Terminator 3 sucked. And yeah, as much as the game is pretty good, it's not really great, but good nonetheless. It's not bad. As much as the game's pretty good, it's disappointing to know that the movie the game's based off of is better than the movie. E2 deleted ending scene. This refers to the deleted ending. You know how the show would end differently. Yeah, that's just pretty much it, so... Like that, we are done with the first part of the Terminator Iceberg chart. It is now 2:20 p.m. and I said I started this at 8:35. So yeah, I've been working on this for hours now. Special thanks to Neon Kenomi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The link to the Terminator Iceberg chart will be down below. Also the link to Neon Kiyomi's Reddit. Also the link to the songs that I have used in this video. I have to say, as I said, this is just going to be a two-parter because if I carry on this video anymore, I'm gonna probably be overworked. Also, I have to study. So, catch you guys next time. Peace.